Welcome to the 100% free Amazon FBA course taught by yours truly, Romer the Roamer. I've done over 5 million in sales. I've done over 1 million in sales this year. I'm gonna make more than a surgeon this year. I started this business model years ago living in my car, so anybody can do this. I didn't have any equipment. All I had was my phone. I'm gonna teach you guys exactly how to do the same, how to make thousands a month profit. Going out to thrift stores, libraries, all you need is the will to work hard, the ability to get to a thrift store or a library, and really just grind. So in this video, there's gonna be 5 modules teaching you exactly how to get started step by step. In module 1, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to determine if books are profitable and if they sell. Module 2, I'm gonna show you guys exactly where to find unlimited profitable books to sell on Amazon. In module 3, I'm gonna show you guys how you can pack books in boxes, not boxes that big. That's actually called a gaylord of books. You can get them from thrift stores and even libraries sometimes. But I'm gonna teach you guys in module 3 how you can pack books in boxes, ship them to Amazon, and Amazon's going to store the books for you, prep the books to the customer, handle customer service, so you don't have to have your garage filled with pallets like this unless you want to. It's a pretty cool sourcing method if you guys wanna get down and dirty. Make about $500 profit per each of those pallets if you really want to. So we'll be going over that too later. Module 4, where I'm gonna be covering actually Mike, my friend who is still in the trenches doing 20,000 a month in book sales, 10,000 a month profit. He's gonna be showing you guys what I believe are the best repricing strategies. And this is a very budget friendly option for booksellers. If you watch this section and model what he does, you can literally copy and paste his template. You are gonna be set up for success. I recommend getting a repricer, probably around 150 books, if not before. It's good to have a system to reprice your books to ensure they sell. And this is a system you can copy for 100% free and reprice it. The software we recommend is pretty cheap. Welcome to module 5, where me and Chachin will be presenting to you how to scale your book business. My name's Avery, aka Romer the Roamer. I just bought a house with the money from entrepreneurship, from selling books on Amazon, selling other items on Amazon. My YouTube channel doesn't make me much, otherwise I'd say my $100 a month YouTube pays me. But about to be 30 years old, and you know, I didn't go to graduate school to pursue selling on Amazon, and I started with used books years ago. In 2018, I had the desire to travel the world, but I was broke, and I figured why not start with my country? I hadn't been too far west of the Mississippi River. So I hopped in my Toyota Corolla, took out the front seat, put a wrestling mat down, lived in my car, and for 3 months I lived in my car voluntarily. It's not like a sob story or anything, but I did have it in my mind that, like, if I can do this, if I can live in my $5,000 car and make enough money to provide for myself while doing what I love, which is like going to the Grand Canyon, everything I wanted to do at the time was just go see the world, then I would have like the most confidence to pursue entrepreneurship. Little did I know that this was really gonna shift my life to like a whole new realm of possibility, and that's selling on Amazon. And what I hope to share with you guys today is just the knowledge and skill and confidence for you guys to make your first few thousand profit selling on Amazon. And the sky's the limit doing this. In 2020, I launched a paid course teaching people to sell on Amazon. I've had thousands of students, and so many people have had success with this. We got Mike the Used Book Guy on YouTube, who's publicly documenting his journey doing 20K a month. We got George down in Louisiana. He's ex-banker, 60 years old plus, and he's doing 10,000 a month. His goal is to do $500,000 in a 12-month period. And then we have tons of other people. We got Max, 19 years old. He's doing 60,000 a month, just selling books, CDs, and DVDs. So in this course, I'm gonna break down everything for you guys in the 5 modules. So let's get into it. For module 1, we're gonna head into Goodwill and see what books we can find. So almost every Goodwill has a book section. So we're gonna head over here. And if you look right here, they have all the hardback, paperback books, and we're gonna start diving into this right here. So you can see the price for the hardback is $3, paperbacks are $2. Don't sleep on the children's books, they're just $1. So let's get into it. So these kids behind me, they just recognize me. Hopefully they'll go on YouTube and learn how to sell books on Amazon. They didn't recognize me. They just saw me with the fancy DJI camera and asked if I was a YouTuber. Found my YouTube channel. But anyway, let's get into the good stuff. So we're going to download an app called ScoutIQ, and it's going to turn green, as you can see there, if it's a profitable book, and it's going to turn red if it's not profitable. In this video, we're just going to use the camera on our phone to scan the books. You can use a Bluetooth scanner if you want to, but in this video, we're going to use what's called Quick Scan, which allows you to continuously scan with your phone. So I'll show you the proper technique on how to scan books. And this might seem silly, but it's actually super important. Speed is the name of the game when scanning books. All right, so we have our first profitable book here. I found this in the children's section. This is $8 profit, and this is after all Amazon fees. So real quick, want to show you guys what a bad book looks like, because I'm going to show you guys a bunch of good books in the thrift store. But just so you guys know, the app is going to say reject at the top, and it's likely going to be negative profit, or it'll also reject it if it's a super profitable book. Let's just say $100 profit. But there's no sales history and there's no indication that the book might sell in the future. It's going to reject that book because we don't care how profitable it is if it never sells. So this app is telling you, hey, this is a profitable book and it's likely to sell. Anyway, let's get back to the thrift store. I'll click on this real quick and pop this on the screen. You guys can see this book is likely going to sell for $20, and the referral fee, which is Amazon takes 15%, is $3.11. There's a $1.80 closing fee, $3.60 FBA fee. Now all this means is Amazon's going to pack this book in a envelope, send it to the customer, handle customer service for a total of $3.60. There's an estimated $1.74 storage fee, so all these fees add up to $10.25 with an inbound shipping of 28 cents. So that means when we ship it to Amazon, we're probably paying 28 cents to get it there. $20 sales price minus $10.25 in fees, plus we're actually only paying $1. I'll change this. So our buy cost is $1, and we're actually left with $9.16 profit. Now, there's not much competition here. If you look at this main screen, you can see there's 4 columns. If we start on the left-hand side, those are all used columns. So you can see there's 2 used offers at $29.52 and $29.53. There's 0 FBA offers. I'll break this down in a second, but this is really good news. And on the right-hand side, we have new offers, and they're hanging out about $22. So realistically, we're not going to sell this for $29, and the app is smart enough to know that. All right, so I'm just going to scan a few of these books at my friend's house and show you guys which ones I would take and which ones I wouldn't. So as you can see there, it says reject, because this book is a super slow seller. Look at that sales score, only 4. It's only sold 4 times over the last 6 months. And the FBA, that profit under FBA is $3. So to risk paying for a book that's only going to make us $3 profit, and the sales rank is 2 million, this is a really slow selling book according to those 2 metrics. And I'm about to explain these 2 metrics more in depth. These are demand metrics, how quickly books sell. But anyway, let's get back to it. And pro tip, when you're using this app, you can turn on speed mode, which allows you to scan as fast as you want. So I can rescan barcodes. I can scan boom, boom, boom. So that's why it's called speed mode. And so once you get a understanding of these apps, I do recommend you use speed mode. But starting out, at least for this video, I'm going to show you guys in normal mode. So this one is $5 profit. Sales score is 66, so it's had at least 66 sales over the last 6 months. Sales rank is 137,000. Anything under $1 million is pretty good. And again, I'm about to break down the difference in those 2 metrics. And really those 2 metrics at the top there tell you how fast the book sells, so it's important to understand those. And if you guys ever want to see a complete breakdown of what all the fees you're going to be paying are and how much profit you're truly left with, just go ahead and click on the price in the top left. And pro tip, if you ever come across these mass market fiction books, the barcode's actually on the inside. This back barcode can be glitchy. But I will show you something else you can do with the apps is click on OCR, and now we can actually scan the number. So this is actually scanning the number, not the barcode, which is going to pull up the correct book. So if you ever are scanning a book without a barcode, click on OCR, and it'll actually just scan the numbers. That's pretty cool. So here's another book, and this book is easily going to make us $15 profit. The sales rank is 31,000, which is incredibly fast. The sales score, which this is very important to realize, there's sales rank and then there's sales score. Sales score is how many times did the book have at least one day with a sale over the last 6 months. And this book right here had 137 days of at least one sale over the last 6 months. Now this is according to Keep a Graph, which you can see is also on here, that graph, which I'll go over in a second. That is very important to understand too. But how many times did the sales rank drop, indicating a sale? So this book has sold 137 times over the last 6 months. The current FBA offer is $24.99. That's the current low FBA. And the current low merchant fulfilled is 16. Now what's the difference between FBA and merchant fulfilled? FBA means someone sent their book to Amazon so Amazon can offer the customer fast 2-day shipping. When you send your books to Amazon via FBA, which is the method that we teach, it is going to allow you to have 2-day or even 1-day shipping to the customer. Now, if you're going to ship these from your house, which I don't teach this way, I do show you how to do it, but not in this video course. This is completely focused on FBA because of the benefit of having that higher price. If you have it at your house, merchant fulfilled, and you ship it to the customer, it might take 7 days to get to the customer, and Amazon knows this. So they don't give you the priority. They don't give you the sale as quickly. So if you're an FBA seller, you're much more likely to get what's called the buy box, which is basically when you're on the Amazon listing, the customer is going to see your offer rather than someone else's offer. So if you're going to list these from your house and not ship them to Amazon using their program, you'll have to sell your books for a lot less. And so that's what we see on the left-hand column here. At $16, somebody's got this book listed, which they'll sell it at that price. But why not sell it for an extra $8 and have less work to do and not have to handle customer service? And that's really why we're taking advantage of FBA. But anyway, let's keep going. So this book we have here is even faster selling. It is a 9,000 sales rank. This is one of the best selling books on Amazon. And after all Amazon fees, we're going to be left with about $6 profit here. You can see Amazon is selling this book themselves for $17. So we're probably going to sell it for around $15. Honestly, we could probably sell it for more though. It's such a fast moving book. So many people are clicking on this Amazon listing and putting this book in their cart. So they're probably clicking every single option they can find. And sometimes that leads to people purchasing used books for more than new books, but that's a whole different topic. This is a very, very good book. I'm surprised this children's section is really hitting good, which is just, this is a huge lesson, guys. Like, hit every section. Like, the rest of the self-help section was terrible today, but this children's section, which a lot of people don't go to, has been hitting really good. So wherever you go, try the different sections, and if a section hits, do not stop scanning that section. Completely max it out. It's just like fishing. If you find an area where there's some fish in a lake, then go ahead and keep going there, explore a little bit around, but don't go to the other side of the lake. Keep fishing until you get all the fish. And so it's the same exact concept with finding used books. I like to start people in the thrift store just to show them what this looks like on your phone. You know, it's really exciting seeing your phone turn green. It looks like you're making a lot of profit, but in reality, it's important to understand the data and really understand all those numbers on the screen. So my goal here is to teach you guys 2 demand metrics that indicate whether or not the book sells. And I'm going to attempt to teach this in a few different ways. So this is for all my whiteboard learners. There's something called sales rank. And when you're in the book reselling communities, the Facebook communities, just talking to anybody about books, they're probably going to have different mentalities and different rules around sales rank. So all sales rank is how, out of all the millions of books on Amazon, where does one
particular book that you're looking at rank. So this book right here could theoretically have a sales rank of 1. Now, if this book had a sales rank of 1, it would be the top selling book on Amazon currently. You know, there's books like When People Die, or Dr. Seuss gets banned, or something happens to a president. The books will go from maybe being ranked 1,000 all the way down to number 1 for the day. So a sales rank of 1 means it's currently the best selling book on Amazon. Now, a book ranked 1 million would be the millionth fastest selling book on Amazon. Is that a terrible ranking? Does that mean it's a super slow seller? Not necessarily. Generally speaking, a book with a million sales rank sells about 1 time per month. Okay? And then you have all these people that say, I'm never going to go over 1.5 million. I'm never going to go over 2 million. And people have all these different mentalities around it. People set up rules for their apps to do different things. And it's fine. You guys can do that. I'm just teaching you what the demand is. I'm going to show you my philosophy in just a second here and what I think you guys should set on these apps. But just know that sales rank is just like it's a snapshot of time for how the book is doing on Amazon. So a book with a 1.2 million sales rank is the 1.2 millionth ranked book currently. But every second it's changing, because this is all determined on how quickly does the book sell. So there's gonna be a book that sells, and shifts in position, and maybe your book sells, maybe another book sells, but they're constantly shifting. So it's important to realize that, a book could be ranked 1 million today, and in the next hour, it could be ranked 100,000 because somebody bought the book, bringing down the sales rank. So it's kind of like an arbitrary metric. And I just want to explain this so you guys aren't like, oh, this book was ranked 50,000, like it should have sold, blah, blah, blah. It's like, understand that sales rank's always changing, okay? So that's number 1, sales rank. Number 2, there's something called sales score. Now, sales score comes from another metric called eScore. So eScore was created by, again, my mentor who created the app ScoutIQ. This is his term. It's called eScore. And the goal of the eScore and what it's trying to show you, now known as sales score on Scoutly, same thing, is how many times did the book have at least one day with a sale over the last 6 months. So if the sales score is 6, the book had 6 days where at least one sale occurred. Now it could have sold 7 times, maybe it sold twice on one day. So it could have sold 12 times, maybe every day it sold twice. That'd be rare, but you guys get the point. It just means there was proof of a sale over the last 6 months. Now, when you look at these apps, these are all estimates and they're not all incredibly accurate. So what we like to do is just take all this information together to make an informed decision. I'm also gonna show you guys how to look at a keeper graph. So let's just say you're at a library sale and you come across a book that is $2,000. Sales ranks 5 million. I'm gonna show you guys a technique where you can actually look at a graph, and the graph is going to tell you how many times did it actually sell over the last decade. Because if we're talking about a $2,000 book, I've sold a $2,000 Jewish set, and the sales rank, again, sales rank, sales score, different metrics. The sales rank was 5 million. I don't think it had a sales score at all. I think the sales score was 0. But I zoomed out on the keeper graph and I saw actually this book used to have sales in previous years. So I had the confidence to buy it and I ended up selling it a few months later. Okay, so these are the 3 demand metrics. Hopefully I explained it well. And if you didn't get it yet, don't worry. In future sections, I'm gonna keep reiterating this concept and hopefully it'll make sense. But the best thing you can do to really grasp and understand this whole business model is go out, scan some books, make a goal of scanning a few thousand, in my opinion. Not gonna take as long as you think. Scan fast. Don't scan and look at every single one, hyperanalyze it. Just scan, 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 wait for it to turn green, then look, is this a profitable book or not? And our goal with triggers is we wanna lower them to the threshold where we get too many false positives, meaning we want our phones to turn green more often. Apologies for all these text messages. We want our phone to turn green more often than red. So we want our phone to ding more often than it rejects. So we can look at it and say, oh, this might be a good book. The whole reason why we're calling these triggers is because we want our phone to be triggered when we scan a potentially profitable book. It doesn't mean we're buying the book. It just means, hey, according to these numbers here and according to the profit, this could be a good book. So that's it for demand metrics, and let's move on.
Okay, so now that you understand the two demand metrics, it's gonna make a lot more sense looking at this app. So let's look at this one more time, and hopefully this will hammer the point home for you guys. But in the top left, we have sales rank. The first number is sales rank, so it's screenshot in time. And to the right would be the average sales rank. And then in the middle, we have sales score. So how many times did the book have at least one day with a sale over the last 6 months? Of course, top left, we have our profit for both FBA and FBM. That means if you shipped the book to Amazon versus you had it, at your house, what would the profit be? And we have 4 columns here. So the 2 columns on the left, these 2 right here, are used offers. And the second column right here that you're looking at with the orange box, that is used FBA. So this is generally what we care the most about because we're doing FBA, we're shipping our books to Amazon. So this is our competition. This is everybody who has also shipped their book to Amazon and can offer 2-day shipping. So we really care about this column here, but don't be surprised. Most of the time this column is gonna be blank because Amazon doesn't give this data liberally to these apps. A lot of times Amazon hides this data because they want to keep their prices low to keep the customers happy. That's a whole nother story, but Amazon only shares the lowest 20 prices with third-party apps. So just know, don't freak out if this column's blank. It doesn't mean there's no FBA offers. It just means the app is not showing them. And then over here to the right, we have new offers. So if you happen to be scanning a new book, maybe at like Ollie's or Books A Million. I don't recommend going there to source, but maybe you come across new books for whatever reason. If it's shrink wrapped, Amazon says you can sell it as new. So you could compare to the new offers there. Of course, you can see the image of the book here. You could also title search. So let's just say we had to type in a book. You could type it in there and then click search. And we have our camera scan, we have voice to text on the app. So hopefully this really makes sense for you guys. And one last thing I do want to talk about is setting up your triggers. So if we go back here, in this section of the video course, Bo is going to show you how you can quickly set up triggers on your phone so you can make more profit. Bo, take it away. What you got for him? Just kidding. But seriously, we are going to go over how to set triggers on your phone. This is super, super important. Because starting out, you're probably going to send in too many books that you shouldn't have, and you might lose money on some of those books. So this section of the course is going to protect you. And all we're going to do is open up a Mike the Used Book Guy YouTube video, which I'll link below. And then you're going to go to your phone, and on Scoutly, you're going to click on triggers, click on book. By the way, everybody should be selling DVDs and CDs. If I haven't said it already, go ahead and whenever you go to a thrift store, whenever you go to the library, scan everything. Don't just scan books. Like, we're selling squares and rectangles on Amazon that make us money. And it just so happens books are the fastest selling category in Amazon, or not the fastest selling, but it's the biggest category. That's where we're focusing this course on, book selling. But DVDs and CDs are equally just as big of an opportunity. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go into the book triggers, and we're only going to have 5 triggers according to Mike starting out. And all you need to do is change the profit to 5. So $5 is the minimum profit. And there's a lot of other things he has you change, which I'll go and just set the first trigger according to his rules. So if you look at the YouTube video, you can see his first triggers for 1 to 500,000. I don't know if that's registering on the screen or not, but his first trigger is 1 to 500,000, FBA slot 1, use slot 3. And so we're just gonna copy his triggers exactly.
So Scoutly default was 1 to 50,000, and we're going to change this from 1 to 500,000. Okay, so that's how you change the sales rank range, is just like that. We're going to compare against FBA offer 1. And something else Mike changed was the sales score. So he changes the sales score to 24. Sales rank is 1 to 500,000. So we have both of our demand metrics set for trigger 1. And if we go down here, he's comparing all to used offer 3. First FBA offer 1, then used offer 3. 5% off new buy box, and also 5% off Amazon. So we're going to change the percent off Amazon because Scoutly default was 10%. And I'll pop these up on the screen real quick so you guys can see them. But the good thing about Mike's triggers, and the reason why I'm using Mike is I've sold, again, millions of books on Amazon, but he's currently in the game in 2025, and this is what he recommends. And just really smart guy. He's part of the go-to team. And yeah, I'll link his full video on setting up these triggers below, but hopefully the way I just showed you makes sense. All you need to do is do that 5 times for these triggers. And for the first one, it's between 1 and 500,000 sales rank. And then the next one is between 500,000 and $1 million. Then we go from $1 million to $2 million. $2 million to $6 million is the 4th trigger. And the last trigger is $6 million and above. So these triggers encompass all sales rank books, and we don't need 20 triggers like Scoutly has initially, because most of the triggers anyway are like they're redundant, and so this is a very simple way to set it up. And if you set these triggers, you are going to be on a much higher path to success, right, Bo? Much higher path to success if you set these triggers than if you just use the default one. So highly recommend you set those up, and hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions at all about setting your triggers, just comment below. So the last thing me and Bo are going to leave you with when it comes to this whole module 1 is about, sourcing, determining what books are profitable, and setting your triggers. You're never really going to understand this on a deeper level until I'm trying to keep this PG, but until you F around and find out. So you literally have to go out, F around, make mistakes, and then find out what mistakes you made. But it took me months to understand, like, all the stuff I just explained to you. I'm just not the type of person to read an instruction manual, And I figured all this out on my own. So maybe watch it a few times if you are the type of person that can learn. But for me, I just learned by doing it. So I recommend effing around, finding out. And those triggers that we just helped you set up, be sure to set those. Those are going to protect you. And I'm going to warn you, one thing they are going to do is they're going to lower how many times you see profit. So you really have to get your scans up. So you're not going to get dings every 3 books you scan. You're going to get dings every, let's just say, probably 50 books you scan, you might get a ding, because we set the minimum profit to $5. So the stuff that turns green is much higher chance of being good. And again, I'm kind of contradicting myself here. I personally like to keep a little bit lower of a threshold, but the more I think about it, for beginners watching this course, I actually want you guys to use the triggers that Mike the Used Book I recommends, because you're going to be running a profitable book business instead of making the beginner mistake a lot of people make, which is they send way, way, way too many books to Amazon and they're just not profitable. So that's it for module 1, guys. Comment any questions you have at all, and please get in the communities. We have the go-to lister community below. That's the most active book selling group we have. But F around, find out, please, please, please ask questions. Take screenshots of books you think might be good. Post them in the group. People love it. People love helping each other out. People love the discussion. People love the debate. Some people will say, yes, buy that book. Some people will say no. And at the end of the day, you never really know until you list the book, and maybe it sells, maybe it doesn't. But our goal here is, on average, to make good decisions with the numbers we have to run profitable book businesses. And you're not going to run a profitable book business if you don't send any books to Amazon. So that's what we're going to be talking about next, is where to find profitable books and then how to list the books. Ultimately, I'm going to give you guys a complete repricing schedule. And this is golden information that took us years to put together. And then lastly, how to scale your book business. So how to take this to the next level. So me and Bo will see you in the future sections. Peace. All right, in this section of Module 1, we're going to be going over a very, very, very important concept for Amazon sellers, and that is Keepagraphs. I'm going to keep it super simple during this section, and we're just going to be looking at this from the context of the mobile app, but just know this is also, Keepa is like its own app. You guys can download Keepa. It's $17 a month. I think the Keepa preview is actually free on Scoutly. But I use this all the time, like every day. I use SellerAmp for my wholesale business. They have a Keepa preview. It's a Chrome extension. And basically this is a company that shows you the price history of any item on Amazon. So that black line is the price of an item over time. You can see that this is a $100 chart over here. It goes up to $100. So this is selling for about 60 something dollars, the black line. And if you guys don't understand graphs, maybe type in Joji Davenport on YouTube. He's got some really good videos breaking this down in depth. But basically the black line is the price and the green line is the sales rank. And so every time that sales rank goes down, remember, a lower sales rank's better. That means a sale has occurred. So we can count the sales rank drops here. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sales rank drops. And I think this is 3 months right here. So 6 months would be somewhere in here. So you can actually count the E-score. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that actually makes perfect sense. Because if we look halfway around the chart right here, there's about 7 drops, and the sales score is 7. So we can actually count how many days with sales the book had. So it's really important to understand Keepagraphs. And again, go on YouTube and study some Joji Davenport videos on how to read these. But I mean, this made me over $1,000 one time understanding Keepagraph, because the sales score was 0 on the book I scanned, and I'll show you guys the book real quick. It was the Talmud 22 volume set. See if we can find it here. Okay, here we go. Talmud 22 volume set. So I was in the library sale. I saw this set of books. I actually scanned the side of the book with the Amazon Seller app. That's something you can do. All these booksellers were in there grabbing books. They left this book on the shelf. And as you can see, there's no Keepa preview here. So I actually opened up on SellerAmp is showing the Keepa preview. And if we zoom out to all time, even though this is over 10 years of sales history here, you can see in the last year, it hasn't really sold much at all because it's been out of stock. Here's actually a better view of it. You can actually see this is over 730 days. It's kind of a weird date range. But you can see it hasn't sold at all in 2025. These first few columns sold 3 times in 2024, 3 or 4 times. And then there's also a sale in 2023. So a lot of people would leave this book on the shelf. And this is a whole nother topic, but there's no offers on the book, so nobody's selling this book. So a lot of times people just leave this on the shelf. And shout out to Scoutly for you guys can see how it turned green on this book with an expected profit of $23, but we know this book's going to make you $1,000 profit if you find it. So shout out to Scoutly. This is why I like this app. It tells you, it turns green even though if it doesn't know. And again, we call these triggers because we just want it to trigger our attention. And we want to be able to look at the app and like, oh, is this potentially a profitable book or not? The app's not going to tell you 100% if the book's profitable or not. It's just telling you, hey, look, this might be a good book. And that's exactly what it did in this case. And then it's our job to understand Keepa and look into it deeper. And if you guys ever do decide to sell categories outside of books, Keepa is 100% essential. Like, I use it every day. I'll be in the bathroom. I'll be in the bathtub using Keepa. Like, I use Keepa. I know Keepa by the back of my hand. And even if I'm buying something on Amazon, I look at the sales history. I look at the sales velocity. I make sure I'm getting a good deal. Keepa is the life force for Amazon sellers. So you got to know Keepa. And that's it for the Keepa portion of this course. And if you guys want more in depth on Keepa, again, go type in Joji, Joji Davenport, and go check out his YouTube channel. He does online arbitrage books, but the principles for him looking at Keepa translate as well over to what we're teaching here. Welcome to module 2 of this free book selling video course. And in this module, I'm going to break down exactly where you can find unlimited profitable books. The knowledge you're about to receive took me years and years to put together. And my goal in this section is to break it down as simply for you as possible in order to get you set up to make thousands of profit each month, because there's millions of books in every city. All you need to do is tap into a very small percentage of those to make profit. And these strategies I'm about to outline took me a long time to really get down to the nitty gritty. So I recommend you follow along with me and take action on these different ways that I'm about to explain on how to get books. There's some things you can do right now as you're watching this video course to really set yourself up for success and to be able to get the highest percent profit books, because you can go scan 1,000 books at one location and not get much at all, and you can go to 1,000 books at another location and get tons of profit. So it really depends on the location where you're going to, and I'm going to break down in order, on average, the most profitable places you can find books. And the first one is, I'm just going to put library sales here. Excuse my handwriting. Library sales. And we're actually going to use a website called booksalefinder.com. Okay. So most libraries have sales that go on annually, biannually, maybe even every quarter. So if we go to booksalefinder.com, and I recommend, if you really want to make money, follow along with me right now. My goal with this course is, by the end of it, you're already kind of setting yourself up for success. And within a month or two, I really want you guys to have bank deposits from the action you take. But you can only get those bank deposits if you go out and find books. And the only way you're going to really find profitable books is if you take action on this portion of the course. So on booksalefinder.com, it's going to give you a map of America. Just click on your state. In this case, this is Nashville, Tennessee that I'm in right now. And you can see this is in order, kind of putting all the different library sales depending on their size. So we have Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We have Maryville. We have Morristown, Knoxville, not too far away. Oak Ridge, Spring Hill's pretty close. So if you're willing to drive, which I recommend in this business model, if you're willing to drive, like tax write-off, you can write off 55 cents per mile. You use an app like ScoutIQ, or at the end of the year, you can estimate how far you drove, and you can write off 55 cents per mile. So if you drive 100 miles, that is a $55 write-off right there. It's a lot of money. So it's worth it if you show up to these library sales. Now, when you show up to these library sales, be sure to call ahead of time and show up the first day books are available for sale. So if the library sale starts on Friday, usually there's actually a Thursday pre-sale, and you want to go to that. That's when all the resellers go, and most of these libraries are ran by a group called Friends of the Library. So what you want to do is pay for a Friends of the Library membership, and that'll usually cost you around $15-20. Well worth it. Show up early. If they say the pre-sale starts at 4 o'clock on Thursday, show up at 3 o'clock. Offer to help them set up the sale. As you're helping them set up the sale, don't scan any books or anything. Just literally just help them give value away. And maybe they'll let you scan some books, maybe not, but it's going to build good faith, which is going to help you later in the sale. You know, maybe they have boxes of books in the back room that they'll give you access to. So this is by far going to set you up for success if you start tackling these library sales. I just showed you guys how you can find them on booksalefinder.com. And in addition to this is actually a better strategy for finding library sales that almost nobody does. but I encourage you, if you're watching this video, to do this right now. So just open up Google Maps on your phone. If you don't have it, download that app. You're going to need it for the rest of these sourcing methods. And type in library. Okay. Now here we are in Nashville. And you can see if I type in library, there's all these locations here. What we're going to do is just tap on the icon for the library. So we have South Cheatham Library right here. We're going to click on that save button down there. And when you click on this, you're going to see the option to save it as a flag. So we're going to flag every single library within a 50 to 100 mile radius of my current location. And you can zoom out and search more if needed. But we have probably about 20 different libraries we can hit up right there. And so just as you're flagging each one, I do want you to click on the website. And this is next level tip that, again, nobody really does. On the website, you can click on contact info, or in this case, it just says email. Boom, it automatically opened up my app to send them an email. Now, what you're going to do is simply just email them this message right here. Hey, I was just curious, when is your next library sale? ? Boom. Now you can copy this so you can send it to future libraries. All right, copy. I'm going to send that. I'm a no subject guy, but if you guys want to add a subject, you can. I just like to keep it straight to the point. And then at least get 10 different libraries on your list. I would try to get every library in your area. But since we're messaging them, when is your next library sale, you're going to start a conversation with them. And if they have a sale coming up, obviously they're going to tell you. And if they have a sale, like a big annual sale, and there's a difference between an ongoing library sale, which is just, hey, we have like a cart of books out front, and an annual library sale or biannual or quarterly sale. Those are donated books that they put out, and they're usually very aware of resellers like us. And so they give everyone an equal opportunity by letting them pay for their Friends of the Library membership, show up early, and then everyone just goes after the books all at the same time. It's like kids going after candy when the piñata is cracked open. So show up with a good attitude, and we have videos breaking down library sales, which I'll link below, on how to dominate library sales, but that's a whole nother topic. I guess my point is, these are big opportunities, and they're advertised on booksalefinder.com, and those are going to be very competitive sales. Everybody's going to go to the library sales on booksalefinder.com, but if you really want to make a lot of money in this business and get books that nobody else has access to, you're going to want to go to all the library sales that are happening in your area that are not advertised on booksalefinder.com, because not as many people know about them. So what you'll do is email all these libraries. Every single one will respond. Libraries are great about responding. And even if they don't have a big library sale going on, they probably have books for sale. And you could even follow up with them like, hey, do you have like donated books that I could look through, like a closet of donated books? You could ask them, do you have any leftover or discarded library books? And that's a great way to really get the conversation going, build the relationship. Libraries are going to be your best friend in this business model because they get most of the donated book inquiries out of all the locations. Thrift stores get bulk books donated, but when we're talking about personal collections, it's all libraries. So you want to be close with all the library managers in your local area. They should know you as the book guy. And you'll really build up your reputation over time. Like as time goes on and you show up and you buy books and you show that you're punctual, you're on time, you smell good, you put deodorant on, you brush your teeth, all these things that make us good businessmen and women, then eventually they know Susan is a very reliable person. And we just got offered $10,000 books from the millionaire down the road that passed away. And we're going to call Susan first because she's the one that has been constantly coming every week, buying up our discarded inventory, buying up our donated inventory. She's helped set up the sales. Susan's going to be our contact. And if you get close with just a few library managers in your area, it'll pay off big time. Same with the thrift store managers, which is the next sourcing technique you're going to use. So you should have probably 10 to 50 green flags, depending on how hard you're going to go with this business model. And hopefully you would have emailed a few libraries even during this video as you're watching this. If you haven't emailed one library yet, go email at least a few near you. And then what we're going to do next is type in thrift stores here. And again, you're going to see a plethora of options on the screen there. Now, what I like to do with thrift stores, actually, I lied to you guys. With libraries, I put hearts. And with thrift stores, I put flags. But since I already put that one library as a flag, I'm going to put a thrift store as a heart. Why do I put hearts for libraries? Because they're usually better. And a lot of people aren't going to tell you this, but I traveled all over America. I went to California to source books. I went to the Northeast. I went to Northwest. I've been down south. And libraries never have as many books as thrift stores, but the books they have are generally better for the reason I just mentioned. When people want to give away their personal collection, they don't think goodwill. They think I want my books to have a home. And so they take them to the library. So on average, you're going to get better quality books at libraries, higher % success rate. And then thrift stores are going to have more volume, but lower quality for a myriad of reasons. But one of the reasons why thrift stores are lower quality, more competition. Thrift stores often sell on Amazon themselves, which they do it pretty poorly, or they do it at scale. So there's still a lot of books to be had at thrift stores. But that's why I put hearts at libraries. And there's also the opportunity for connections with libraries, which there's thrift stores too. But I've always had better experiences at libraries. But you're just not going to have so many books to scan. So thrift stores, same exact concept. Now, since you're going to hit up Goodwill, Salvation Armies, if you're in the Northeast, you'll hit up Savers. Mom and pops are all over the country. Look for, if you're willing to drive, this is huge, look for small towns that have any of these locations, and look for the mom and pop stores. The mom and pop stores are willing to do business. If they, they're probably going to give you backroom access. If they have a giant pallet of books in the back of, that's just been collecting dust for a while in the back closet, a mom and pop wants to move that. Even most thrift stores do, but Goodwill's can be a little bit political if you ask for backroom access, which is, I'm going to write this down here. I'm going to write down thrift stores right here. And if the golden nugget for library sales was, I'm not even going to write this down, but if the golden nugget was to get locations that are not advertised on Book Sale Finder, so library sales that reply, hey, we have this big sale coming up in 2 weeks, and it's not on Book Sale Finder, if that's the golden nugget for the library sale section, that's what's going to make you a ton of profit. Then for thrift stores, it's going to be backroom access. And libraries too. So backroom access is exactly what it sounds like. When you're at any of these locations, whether it's a library or a thrift store, you can say, hey, do you have any books in the back that I could look at? And ideally, you do this as you have proven yourself. You can do it same day, but walk into the thrift store, scan everything they have, and then with your box or two, or maybe you don't have any books, just depends. But if you do have some books that you're deciding to purchase, that's proof that you can take to the manager or the director of the library. You can say, hey, look, I'm buying these books. Do you have any more books in the back that I could look at? And that's going to exponentially increase the amount of, number one, potential you're going to have in this business in general, because now you're making this connection with the manager, and they're going to let you in the back room, which has higher profit books. And they're just going to realize that you're about business as time goes on, and that's going to build your network. And number two, like I just said, it's going to allow you to go to the back room and get access to books that most people don't have the gonads to even attempt to go after, because most people in this business, they don't want to talk to people, they don't want to build relationships, they're hermits, they don't like to get out of their shell, which, that's the attractive part of this business, is you can be quiet, you can put podcasts on, listen to Joe Rogan for 10 hours a day and just scan books and live your life. But if you really want to be successful in any business, relationships are key. Your network is your net worth. And if you have good relationships with all the managers and all the libraries, directors of libraries in your city, all the friends of the library, the presidents of the friends of the library, you're going to be very well off, and you're never going to be at a shortage of books if you just have connections with the people that run these two places, and you let them know, hey, contact me if you ever need anything. Remember their birthdays, bring them coffee, bring them pizza, bring them food.
And, you know, I like to, especially when you're in a good mood and you just want to give something to someone one day, that's your time to go and give them some coffee. And don't expect anything in return. Just give it to them, and it'll work out. And even if it doesn't, give out of the kindness of your heart just to do it, you know. It took me a long time to get over that. I used to not like bringing coffee to these locations because I felt like I was like doing it as an exchange. But when I tear up their book section and I take most of the good books that are profitable on Amazon, you know, it's nice to give them a cappuccino in return, and that's going to really, really open some doors. So that's my advice there. So these are, I'm trying to keep this section simple. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but you can build a very profitable business. I have friends that they buy pallets of books from thrift stores, which is a whole nother deal. But you can buy pallets. Like, let's just say, like, you really want to take this business model seriously. You've gotten up to a few thousand in sales. Maybe you want to lease some warehouse space and start processing bulk books, you know, in that location. I have friends that sell millions of books. Shout out to Vishal and Manroop. They started back in 2020. I've been doing this longer, 2019. I've actually built and sold my book business. A few months ago, last October, I sold my consignment book business. So I've been out of the book business for a while, but these kids got in the book business after me, and they've stacked over $1 million cash in the bank just from pulling money out of their book business. And they started with less than $10,000, and they just work with Goodwill and buy pallets of books. And that's a whole nother business model. What I'm teaching you guys is called cherry picking, and it's very high chance you're going to be successful with what I'm teaching in terms of pulling profit and having a profitable business. Most people, when they jump into bulk, you're going to be not very profitable for very long. So I don't recommend, if you're watching this video, to jump into bulk. Let's kind of maximize these first few strategies, cherry picking, and then we can move on later, or you can move on. And if you guys ever have questions about scaling a bulk book business, reach out to me. I do bring people on the channel occasionally that do that. So these are the first two. And then the next one, I would say, let's just say estate sales. And you can go to estatesales.net or just look up garage sales or estate sales in your area. And Saturday morning, wake up early, drive to all the estate sales, and just look for the ones that have books. Like, go to estatesales.net and scroll through the ones that have books. That's another location. That's another place you can get books. I literally have like 20 plus techniques on where to find books. If you guys go to starthumble.com, there's an absolutely free video course there that kind of breaks down more in depth in module 2 of where to find books. It's funny, it's the same module that we're in on this free video course here, but starthumble.com, module 2. But I really want you guys to have success with this, and I don't want to overwhelm you. So please put every library sale that's happening in your calendar. Please email at least a few libraries in your area, and go to booksalefinder.com and put all the libraries that are happening there in your calendar. Then hit up every thrift store, and I recommend batching this together. Like, you're going to get exhausted. So go out for 3 or 4 hours at a time. Don't go out 1 hour each day of the week. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but what worked for me is batching this. So I'd go out for 3 or 4 hours on Saturday, and then that's when I would get all my books. And then Sunday would be listing day. So the next section of this course, we're going to be going over listing, how to get your books packed, shipped out the door to Amazon. But I recommend having 1 day dedicated to sourcing, and you're probably going to want to do about 4 hours total. Maybe if you're more energetic. I'm young. I'll do jiu-jitsu, salsa dance, lift weights in the same day, but I get exhausted scanning for 4 hours. I want to go do something else. It's just my personality. And so, but you can find a lot of books in 4 hours. So what I recommend you do is go to these locations, scan the books. If you have library sales in your calendar, really maximize those. Most people leave library sales an hour after they start. Why do they leave? Because everyone else leaves. It's like kids doing a test at school, and then all of a sudden, you remember when like one kid would stand up, like probably the smartest kid in the room stands up and turns his test in, and all the other kids are waiting for everyone else to stand up and leave. That's what happens at library sales too. So like just like in high school, how all the kids will stand up at the same time to turn their test paper in, you'll see all the people leave the library sale at the same time. That doesn't mean you should leave. That just means you have more space to scan. Everyone else is left. And This is called a book selling course, but you should also be scanning CDs and DVDs. Like, all we're doing is selling media online. We don't care if that media is books, CDs, DVDs. There's a little bit difference in triggers with those, which you can type in Mike the Used Book Guy on YouTube. He's got great trigger videos breaking down how to set up your triggers for CDs and DVDs. But if you go to library sale, scan all the books, the next thing you should do is go after CDs, DVDs. Same with the thrift stores, same with estate sales. So these are the big 3 strategies. And with the estate sales, you know, I'll put Craigslist in there. Go to Craigslist, type in books. You can go to Nextdoor and you can make a post, hey, I'll pick up your books for free. You can do free book pickups on Nextdoor, on Facebook Marketplace. There's so many different places to find books. And if you guys want more strategies than just what's outlined here, go to starthumble.com module 2, and there's some itemized videos. Libraries and thrift stores could be all you need to run a profitable book business. That's why I'm telling you to focus on those first. Mike with Golden State Picker, he's also got a YouTube channel, literally makes $100,000 profit a year as of right now, just working with one thrift store. They let him go in the back and scan a pallet of books or so every week. I think he scans like 3 or 4 or more. But you get the point. He's got a relationship. Back to your network is your net worth. And thrift stores, libraries, all you really need. Now, that being said, there's people that do other techniques like Craigslist, Nextdoor, Facebook Marketplace, going there to find books, advertising a free book pickup service. People crush it with that. But I just think it's a little bit more work. And starting out, like, let's just see if you even like this. Let's just see do you enjoy going out and finding boxes of books in Amazon? Is it something that is manageable? Like, can you listen to Joe Rogan for 3 hours and scan books and feel like you were productive? Or Audible, put on, you know, I don't know, 50 Shades of Grey, if that's what you're into. Like, and I would not have done this business model. And the reason why I make that joke is, like, I used to cut grass, okay? I used to run a landscaping company, and I would not have started that business or selling books if I could not listen to podcasts all the time. I'm all about educating myself. Hopefully you guys are listening to this as you're scanning books at the thrift store right now. My big thing was I could read a book or 2 a day, going out, scanning books, driving around, listing books, doing all the things for my business. And in my early 20s, I was really able to educate myself and get myself up to the point where I knew a lot about business simply by consuming so much. And that's why I love this business model. And I wouldn't do it. I honest to God, I wouldn't do this business model if I couldn't, if I wouldn't have been able to do that. And I wouldn't cut grass either. Same exact thing. So that's a little bit of a rant, but I just really want you guys to conceptualize what people who are doing this and making $100K profit a year, what they're doing. Mike the Used Book Guy, he's bringing in $8K a month net. What he's doing is he's hitting up these locations, thrift stores, libraries. Go check out his YouTube channel. Great channel, and he's always doing lives. Me and him do a live once a month. We got George, and something George does that's unique. He's down in Louisiana. He will drive. He's a psycho. He'll wake up at 3, 4 a.m. and he'll drive for hours to small towns in the Louisiana area. If you're willing to do that, you're going to crush this business, and then you could probably write off. I think I drove like 20,000 miles one year, my first year in business. Like, I think it was more than that. I drove all the way across America and back. Maybe it was just 20,000. But the tax write-off is no joke when you drive to these locations. So anyway, that's it for this portion. Let's move on to Module 3. Welcome to Module 3, where I'm going to show you guys exactly how to list your books, get them active on Amazon, ship them to Amazon so you don't have to prep and store them yourself, and ultimately get paid. We're also going to be going over pricing in this section. So in this section, we're going to be covering listing, getting your books out the door to Amazon, and pricing your books for maximum profit. We're going to cover how to list books on Amazon, get them shipped out the door to Amazon, where they're going to handle all the prep, packing, and shipping to the customer. We're going to be going over how to grade books, you know, ex-library books versus good books versus acceptable books, how to really determine what the condition of the book is. So if you look here, I have my Rollo printer, which I recommend you guys get one. Get the gray one. This is a wireless one. You guys don't need the wireless one. Get the gray one, and you're going to use these labels for the books, and then there's 4x6 labels right behind there for the shipping labels. So the main difference
is years ago, you used to be able to scan the book, print the label, and immediately put it on the book. But now in 2025, Amazon only allows you to print the label for the book if the listing's created on Amazon. And the catch is it takes about 15 minutes for the listing to get active. So now there's a little bit of delay from scanning the book and getting the label. And in this flow, we're going to be going over how to deal with that. And it's pretty simple. So let's get into it. So step one is going to be go over to GoToLister.com. If you haven't already, sign up for your free account and go ahead and set up your account. And then once you get your account set up, click on connection, connect your Amazon account, and then we're going to create a batch. So when we click on create batch, what we're going to do is go to FBA. For batch name, you're going to put wherever you got the book. So let's just say you got the books from Goodwill, dash today's date. So today is July 17th, 2025. Pricing rule, you're gonna do smart pricing. We price your faster moving books at higher prices. You guys already went through a lot of work going to the library, going to the thrift store, going through a pallet of books to get these books. Why not make as much profit as possible? There's a lot of books where you can make $2, $3, $4 extra, if not more, simply by pricing a little bit higher. So smart pricing automatically prices your faster moving books according to the competition at more profitable prices. Go ahead and put your name here under listed by in this video. My incognito name is Tom because I'm using someone else's account. Shipping from, you're gonna go ahead and just enter your address here. Who labels? We're gonna label our products. We're gonna save 30 cents plus per book simply by printing these labels and putting them on the book. Packing type is going to be I'm packing individual units since we're packing books. And then I want to use GoToLister to provide box content, and I want to use new batch flow. Then what you're gonna do is click on create batch, and under source, you're going to select where you got these books from, or you can just type it in. So if you got them from Goodwill, you type in Goodwill. You could even specify which Goodwill you got them from. Buy cost, you're going to enter how much you paid. So let's just say we paid $1.75 for these books. Condition description, I like to use a very simple one and I don't change it. So satisfaction guaranteed, ships directly from Amazon. I will also use this one, X library. And every time you click on add, it's gonna save the condition note. So we have X library, we have the generic one, which we can use this generic one for any condition. If we list it as like new, if we list it as very good, good, acceptable, this condition note doesn't need to change. So the theory behind this is when you ship these books to Amazon, Amazon is going to give the buy box, which is essentially where the attention of the customer goes, to us because our books are at their warehouse. They can offer 1 to 2 day shipping to the customer. And so we're going to get displayed in the buy box. And we don't think the condition description really matters. And our philosophy here at GoToLister that we recommend our users do is focus on speed. Focus on getting these books out the door so you can focus on what's really important in your business, which is finding more profitable books. Don't waste most of your time listing the books. Okay, and then up here we have all the different conditions. So we can list books as new, like new, very good, good, acceptable. So in this case, I'm gonna list the books as good. And then now I have my Wone Nice scanner set up here. I'll link this below. And I have all of my books stacked barcode up. So here's a like new book. This is literally a brand new book from Target. And as you can see, it's super crisp. It's obviously never been read because you can go through the pages like this and feel that it's never been read before. It does have 2 stickers on the front. Now it's optional if you want to take these off. Personally, I would under promise, over deliver. I would take off a price tag or cover up a price tag. It does have a little bit of something gooey here, but we're all good now. And you could peel this off, but I personally wouldn't because it does leave some sticky material. What you can do is if you wanted to cover up a price tag, a good technique is just use your FNSKU labels to cover it up like that. That's better than nothing. If there's still a price there and you really want to take away the price, you can get a Sharpie Here's a pen, but a Sharpie is better. Mark that out, and then you can stack another label on top like that if there's price stickers. And I would under promise, over deliver. I would list this one as good since it does have stickers on it, but otherwise it would be a like new condition book. And again, on go to lister, we can go over here and we can quickly toggle condition to like new. Very good. So for people that do really want to condition their books, I get it. I understand that, you know, it might be, you might enjoy doing it, and maybe it does boost your sales a little bit. So I can see the argument for that. Now this book here does have some highlighting in it, so I would list this as good. Otherwise it's a good condition book, or even acceptable. You can see the last person listed this as good too on Amazon, and then boom, good to go. This is an example of an acceptable condition book. It is X library. Other than that, it's not a terrible condition book. So this one, just because it's X library, I would change the condition description on GoToLister to X library. That's all I'm gonna put. And then I would list this as acceptable. You could do good. I see a lot of people do good, but I like to under promise, over deliver. And let's see what else. A good condition book. This is classic good condition. It's got a little bit of highlighting, not terrible, good. And the good thing is, like, if you're listing fast, like we recommend, like just scan everything in, you are going to be listing most books as good condition, even if they're like new, even if they're very good, they're all gonna be listed as good. And then every once in a while, I'll toggle over to acceptable if it's X library, or I wouldn't list books that are water damaged. Like here's probably the worst condition book that I would list. Here it is. Binding's kind of loose. It's X library as well, but it's still readable. And like if somebody just wants this as a cookbook at home, like they're not going to be upset, especially if they bought the book as X library. Now I'll show you a book that I would not list. So this is as low condition. This is about as worse of a book that I'll sell on Amazon. Torn cover a little bit. I'll show you what's unacceptable in my opinion. This book here is definitely unacceptable. It's water damaged. It's got a coffee stain on the top. I wouldn't sell books with coffee stains or any type of water damage at all. That's an absolute no-no. So this is a non-acceptable book. I wouldn't even try to list this book. Also, keep an eye out for counterfeit books. Here's a textbook. This is a poorly printed custom textbook, but like for a certain school, I believe. But this book here, it just looks weird. It's kind of, it looks like the S is almost cut off, but I think this is actually a legit book. But what you can look out for is on the spine, you can see the text will be rolling off the page, like it's off center. Another telltale sign is you can look at the page numbers here, and if they jump around, like they're not in the same order, like printing wise, like you'll see the page kind of dance around the page number. That's a telltale sign of a counterfeit. And then also just the artwork on the front will be off center, maybe running off the page. And then if you go to stopcounterfeitbooks.com, they have a whole tutorial, whole test that you can go through to look out for counterfeits. And then if you're just worried about accidentally selling a book that might get an IP complaint, be sure to use GoToLister's risk check. I talk about this later too, but you can click on risk check and quickly, see how likely the book is to be counterfeit. So now what I'm going to do is simply take this, scan it, and it's going to input this into GoToLister. There we go. Take this, scan it. And this is just stationary. I have continuous scanning turned on with my One Nice scanner, and I can scan as fast as I want. We have something at GoToLister called speed mode. What speed mode is it allows me to scan faster. Look how it's still processing, and I can scan another book. I can scan books while Amazon is still processing the first book. And that really, really speeds up the listing flow because I'm no longer reliant on Amazon's slow processing time. GoToLister is going to automatically queue those in. We're the only software that does this for sellers. And then what I can do, I have all these books stacked in the order I scanned them, and they're all being listed. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is click on this error queue. These are all the books with errors, and I'll show you an example right here. The Warrior Poet Way showed up as an error item. For some reason, it's pulling up a ebook version of this versus a regular book, so I'm going to select the regular book. There was one book that's restricted, this one here. So in this case, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to look it up on a website and try to flip it real quick. I'll show you guys, and then no results for one of the books. So just be aware as you're scanning, like I'm talking to you guys right now, so I wasn't really sure what book that was, but there's one book for whatever reason didn't show up properly. Usually you scan the wrong barcode or something and that'll happen. So whenever you get books you can't sell, you can apply for approval. That's what I recommend you do. Or you can go to bookscouter.com, and I still have my scanner connected to the computer, and I have sell selected. So I could sell this for $1.50, better than nothing. But before you purchase the books, you should really see if you're restricted or not. We do have a GoToLister mobile app. And what you can do is everything I just did, you can do on our mobile app. So let me show you guys this real quick. You can quickly open up the batch on your phone. So here we are on a batch on my phone, and I can click on the scan icon here. And as I'm in the store or a library at Goodwill, I can go ahead and just double check that the books are profitable and really ensure that I can list them simply by scanning them with my phone there in the app. And I can look at the Keepa graph, which you guys should watch videos on how to read Keepa on YouTube. But I can really look through everything here and make sure I'm making good purchasing decisions. And the benefit of this is everything I just showed you, you no longer would have to do when you get home. When you get home, all your books would already be listed. So I do have a separate video. If you guys look up on my YouTube channel, Roamer the Roamer, just type in GoToLister mobile listing, it'll come up. But pretty simple. You just scan the books in the batch versus scanning them on your computer in the batch. And whatever you scan on the mobile batch is going to update on the computer batch as well. So now that we're done scanning these in, that was step one, is create the batch. And then what we're going to do now is we've already scanned all the books in. We're going to price these books. So all the books are automatically priced at what GoToLister thinks are the most profitable price. And I can look at this price right here, where it says price and then BB. That stands for buy box. We want to be at the buy box. Buy box is usually where we want to be, but there are some exceptions. There are some faster moving books. So this is priced at FBA 2. That's the second lowest FBA offer. There's a lot of money to be had here. You can see we've made an extra almost $6 on this book. Let's just say $5 extra on this book because it's buy boxing for $16, but we're going to come in at 22. And we're banking, no pun intended, on this guy to sell for $16.73 right here. And when this seller sells out, we're going to get the sale at $22, and then the person above us is going to be at $22.49 and then $41.68. So this book has buy box history at $39, and I can see this. This is a free Keepa preview. I recommend paying for Keepa. You'll pay $17 a month, but with GoToLister subscription, you get a free preview of Keepa, which is super, super nice here. You can see 180 days. You can toggle this. This is the price history of the book. The black line is the low used price. The pink line is what the used buy box is. And you can see that pink line is hanging out in the high 30s. So this book is sold for, 30 something bucks. So thinking it can sell for 22 is not unrealistic. I could even probably price it for more and get the sale. So very good job. That was nothing done on my part. That was all automatic, done with GoToLister smart pricing. So that's good. FBA offer 4, I like the sound of that. It's priced at the 4th lowest FBA offer. This is a fast moving book, and you can see we're at $13.88, even though the lowest FBA is at $12.99. So I'm a fan of that. We're making an extra 40 cents, not 40 cents. What am I doing? 89 cents. We're making an extra almost $1. So I'll take it. It's a fast moving book. It's going to sell for that. So I just improved my profit from up to $3.26, whereas before it would have been closer to $2. So you can quickly see how GoToLister subscription will pay for itself via smart pricing. And I think this is one of the best things that we've done at GoToLister, because one of my pet peeves when I used to list without GoToLister, because when I started selling books, obviously we didn't have this, was buying books in the store that I know I should price at whatever price, but then getting home and being so tired and wanting just to get the books out the door. And then a couple weeks later, I'd check my app, my Amazon seller app, and I would sell the book for far too cheap because I just forgot to price it right. So that's the benefit of GoToLister Smart Pricing. It protects you. But I still recommend you go through and manually look at everything in your batch. Fun fact, John Henson, this book right here, this is my uncle, actually. He's my great-great-great-great-grandpa's, one of those greats, grandpa's brother. So he was a Confederate soldier here, and he was really mad at the guys in the Union because they killed his sons and decapitated them in his front yard because they thought his sons were spies when really his sons were just playing in the woods. And then he took it upon himself to build a custom-made sniper during the Civil War and take out Union soldiers, only Union officers on the ships that would go by on the Tennessee River. So, fun fact that I still have not sold this book. I've used it for a lot of YouTube tutorials. So we're happy with this. We're happy with the way that the books are priced. And one more thing we're looking for here is there are sometimes going to be purple notifications. Let me see if I can find it. This is a good book here. I've sold this book for $2,000. So this is a Jewish set. And usually there's no FBA offers. It's a huge, huge set. So here's an example. Sometimes this notification, you guys can see this, it's going to turn the whole site orange. This is a really, really good notification when you see this. And there's a second notification you guys will get where it's going to turn the whole site purple. Okay? Anytime you see this on GoToLister, it's just screaming money, 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 money. It's basically saying, hey, there's no competition. Price this book at whatever you want. And GoToLister actually priced this way too low. 300 is not what it should be priced at, but GoToLister doesn't have any data. It doesn't know what it should be priced at because there's no offers. And that's why it notifies you. It's admitting, hey, I don't know what this should be priced at, but you probably do. And so now what we're going to do is open up this Keepa. Here, actually, let's see if we can just open it up on GoToLister Keepa. We'll click here on the Keepa. And this book sold out at around $2,700. You can see the last copy was for $2,700, and then a sale occurred shortly after that. So the Keepa graph looks a little funky, but I think this was a sale. I know I've sold this book for $2,000 before, so I'm confident pricing this at $2,700. And so anytime you're using third-party software, whether you're using a scouting app, ScoutIQ, Scoutly, GoToLister, a repricing software, whether it's Reprice It, Be Cool, NeuroPrice, realize this. All of these softwares that use APIs are limited by the API. Now, I know I sound like I'm speaking another language here. What's an API? API is basically an endpoint that Amazon gives software that shows the prices of available items. And what they'll do is they'll only show the lowest 20 offers for all categories. So most books, a lot of the fast-selling books have 100 offers on one listing. There's 100 sellers selling these books, but they're only going to show 20 of the lowest prices to the third-party softwares. Why? They want to keep the customer happy. They don't really care about the sellers too much. If we lose money on an item, they don't really care. But they want the customer to brag to their neighbor, hey, I just got this book delivered for $6 and it was same day delivery. You know, they want to keep the prices low to keep the customer happy. They're a very consumer-centric business model. It's why Amazon is successful as they are, but it hurts us sellers. So what can we do? We can pay attention, and what we're doing at GoToLister is we notify you. We notify you when we're like, hey, Amazon hasn't given us enough data for XYZ. Maybe it's the issue I just explained, the lowest 20 offers, and we think there's opportunity for you to, this is going to turn purple. when that happens. It's going to say there's 0 FBA offers on this listing. Consider pricing higher, because if it's only showing you the lowest 20 and there's 100 books on the listing, the lowest 20 people are probably mega sellers, Goodwill, Discover Books, these other places selling these books, and they're getting super cheap shipping. It's these mega sellers selling books at dirt cheap prices, where you might not even run into what your true competition is. Your true competition is somebody else doing FBA. So your true competition might start at book number 50, 51, you know, and that's where the profit comes in, because you shouldn't be pricing against the $6 low price book. You should be pricing against the guy priced at $15 that's offering 2-day shipping, because FBA competes against FBA. Remember that. And what we're doing during this scan, this is going to be the most profitable part of your listing process. During this scan is we're just looking for any of these lines here which indicate 0 offers on the listing, or the purple version of this which indicates, hey, there's offers here, but there's 0 FBA offers. Okay. You can also, if you're listing textbooks and you're worried about accidentally selling a counterfeit, that's a big issue people run into. You can open up BooksRun and check the likelihood of it being counterfeit. Just sign into your account here, and then it's going to tell you if it's unlikely or if it's likely, and this is unlikely, so we're good there. And it also shows you the sellback value of the books. I could sell that book to BooksRun for $5. Which book was that? Oh, Jack Henson. But it's going to make me, on Amazon, $6. I'd actually flip that to them for $5. You know what I mean? I could sell that to BooksRun and make more. I could make almost as much as I'd sell it on Amazon. So, and they're going to cover shipping on that too, $5.10. And again, you can go to bookscouter.com. Let's see what this is going for on Bookscouter real quick. On Bookscouter, this is going for, there's BooksRun popping up. So Bookscouter compares all of the buyback companies, World of Books, Valor Books. It compares all of them, and they're buying it for $5.10. That's a good deal. But I'm going to keep it. I still haven't read it. One of these days, I'm going to get around to it. Okay. So I think that's about it during this phase. I like to go through here, and every time I see one of these FBA notification or FBA2, I smile, because I'm like, all right, I'm making more profit most likely. Now there are a few times where FBA4 we're only making an extra 89 cents, but I'm gonna roll with it because it's such a fast moving book, you know, and that's literally just profit margin in my pocket. But sometimes this really does save you. You're like, wow, I'm making that much extra. But anyway, so we're good to go here. Now what we're gonna do is click on send batch. And this is an important part. So the moment we scan the items into the batch, the listing process on Amazon has been attempted to be created. That was a mouthful. Once you scan an item and go to a lister, the listing process has started on Amazon. Remember that. This is important. In the past, what we used to do is we told people, hey, scan items in your batch. And since Amazon's now creating the listing and it's not ready for the labels yet, wait an hour or so and come back and submit the batch, and you should be good to go. Instead, what we've done is we had the whole GoToLister community of close to 1,000 sellers vote, and what they said was, we want the option to schedule our send for 3 hours and 12 hours. These are the 2 times that they selected. So you can either send now, but don't do this. This is gonna give you a bunch of error items since we scan these in so fast. Schedule it for 3 hours, and now you're going to wait. And if you have our GoToLister mobile app, what you can do is go downstairs, start cooking some dinner, take your dog for a walk. You're gonna get a notification on your phone that says, hey, you can just exit out of the app. Your phone's gonna notify you, hey, your batch is ready. That's when you come back to the computer. And for the example of this video, I'm going to... So the next phase is going to be to go to box contents, which is the next step after the 3 hour send is complete. And what you're going to need is your Rollo printer. I recommend getting there's only 2 printers. There's one gray one, which is wired. I recommend that one. And then there's this wireless one, which is fancy. It can connect to your phone, but really there's not a whole lot of benefit to it. And it's actually more difficult to set up. So I recommend the wired one, or you can also plug this one in like I did, keep it old fashioned. And anyway, this just looks cool. And that's why I like it. I bought it on Amazon Prime Day. But what we have here is our labels, which I'll link below, the cheapest labels. The good thing about Rollo is they're compatible with all labels. So you can get cheap labels where other brands like Dymo are only compatible with their expensive labels. So you can actually get really dirt cheap labels, which are still high quality, which I'll link below. And then we also have our shipping labels. So our complete shipment stack is here. And the Rollo printer is a thermal printer, so you never have to pay for ink. So this $150 investment, or however much it is at the time of this video, is going to be huge for you in the long run, because you're going to save money on ink. You're going to save money. 30 cents per label is what you're saving from Amazon. And then also you can print both your Amazon FBA and UPS 4x6 labels. So that is the complete shipment stack we have here in terms of hardware. For the sake of this video, since I don't want to wait for 3 hours, what I'm going to do is click on box content on another batch. With actually some of these books are listed in this batch too, so it's perfect. And you're going to be taken to a page that looks like this. Okay, and so once you get here, this is what's really cool. Is I know most of you guys are brand new to selling books, but a few years ago you used to be able to obviously scan your book and get the label, but now you're guaranteed 0 split shipments. So Amazon's not going to send one book to California like they used to before. They're all going to the same location. And the FNSKU, since the listings that are here have already been verified by Amazon, the labels are going to print that much faster. And so what we're going to do here is click on the scan box, and we're just going to scan each book in. So I just did a quick run to the store to get boxes. These are the boxes I recommend you use. They're called 12 by 16 by 12 boxes, and you can get them at Lowe's. You can get them at U-Haul. At Lowe's, they're the small boxes. Home Depot, they're the small boxes. You can get them at U-Haul. Steve, I just talked to him on the phone. He said you can get these on Lowes.com if you order them in bulk, like 25 or 50 at a time. I'm not sure what the exact quantity is, but you can get free shipping on them delivered to your house. So once you kind of scale your operation, that would probably be a good investment. I got this, I picked this up at Lowe's, but I'm gonna link my favorite tape gun from Amazon below. So you guys are gonna see that as well. As you can see, this is messing up on me a little bit. But what you're gonna do is tape across the top like that. So just fold the box down, tape across the top, and then you can just do 2. And we're going halfway down the box on each side. This is way too short. You can tell I've been out of the game for a second. So boom, we go halfway down the box, right across the top, boom, just like that. And a pro tip is if you live in a rainy area or a snowy area in the wintertime and you're worried about the boxes getting wet, you can simply tape the sides of the boxes like this, and it waterproofs them, protects your books from any damage. So we can do that on the other side as well. And now our box is ready to be prepped and packed with items for Amazon. Okay, so here we go. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is if you have the space, this is pretty cool to do. And that's using this Accutech scale here. Again, this is going to be linked below. This is the cheapest high quality scale we've found for Amazon sellers. And what we're going to do here is you need to put it on a hard surface. You can't weigh on carpet. It's not going to work good. So what we can do is put it over here. And it's got this digital display. I am going to have to plug this in. So as you can see here, we've zeroed out the scale, and we can put this box on top here. And just the box weighs 15 ounces, almost a pound. And now what we can do is take the book we listed and labeled right here and put it in the box. And the weight's gonna go up accordingly. This is 2 pounds total. And we wanna get the box above 35 pounds is good, as close to 50, but still under 50 pounds. You cannot send boxes over 50 pounds to Amazon, and you don't really want to, because at that weight, they start falling through the box. So I'd try to get to 45 to 49 pounds. And yeah, let's get into it. So we scan the book, and it's instantly gonna print out the F and SKU. So we can scan here, scan there. We can just speed scan these in. Alternatively, you can click on print all at the top here, and it's gonna print all the labels out at once. A lot of our users actually do that because it is a pretty fast way to get your books listed. Now we'll label these, put them in the box. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna speed it up and just put these in here. So as you can see, I put the covers of the book facing, or the spine of the book facing the wall there. I don't want to put especially for paperbacks, it's going to damage the book if you put it that way. So I put the spine of the book against the wall. And then sometimes it's going to be a little funky. You might have to put books in, sideways like this. Don't bend the cover like me. And also don't really worry too much about the books. Like, don't stress it that much, because you should see how they handle your books at Amazon, and really any big Amazon bookseller. They're gonna toss your books around, and it's just because they're books, And I think starting out, you think books are so precious, but once you really see how the business is, people throw it around because it's the fastest way to move, and books are pretty durable. So don't be afraid to really shove them in there. Okay, let's check the weight on this real quick. So here we are, 29 pounds. Try to keep it over 35 pounds. This is just for the purpose of this video, but you're gonna get much better shipping rates above 35 pounds. And so there's still a lot of room in here. And let me show you, if you were to pack up a box like this, this is how you can really ensure your books don't get damaged on the way and keep Amazon happy. So what we're gonna do here is you can take newspaper, you can take any extra wrapping paper from Amazon packages, any type of paper. If you don't have any, Home Depot has painter's paper that you can buy. So I'm sure Lowe's has some form of painter's paper too, but it's this red paper. But just start keeping around extra, paper that you can fill in. And then what we're gonna do is fill in all the gaps here. So you can see I just really stuffed that hole good. And here we go, we wanna stuff this right there, and we still have a little bit of space there. So I'm gonna fill this up like that. And then one more, and we should be good. And we're gonna close the box the same way. Remember, halfway down on the sides, straight across the top. Optional, you can take this paper and waterproof it here. Keep your box nice and waterproofed. Keep those books safe. So in the box content phase, you're done when it says 100% of the items have been listed here. And if there is a method you can use where you list, let's just say, a couple hundred books at once or more than a box full, and what you would do is fill the box like we just did, and then you would click on add box, right? And then you would just take the next book, you would scan it, and then you would put it in box number 2. So then all these books would be scanned into box number 2. But what I recommend you guys do is one batch per box. And the reason for this is there are going to be errors from time to time. Luckily today we didn't have any errors, but there is an error queue when you come into the box content phase. And if you do have errors, just know that those books must be pulled. And that's why we have the 3 to 12-hour send, because if you do experience errors, it's better to wait a little bit of time, give those items a full chance to be listed by Amazon before we try and create the shipment with GoToLister. So the 3-hour send is going to save you on a lot of those errors. So then what we're gonna do is click on continue to box info. Our box weight was 30 pounds. Again, try to get above 35 pounds. That's gonna save you a lot in shipping. And then we're gonna do 12 by 16 by 12 in dimensions. We'll submit this. And in the meantime, while we're waiting on this to submit, I'm gonna show you guys how to quickly toggle your Rollo. What you're gonna do is open up these toggles right here, take the top labels, the book labels away, and for the bottom labels, we're gonna put in here. Remember, I have a full tutorial on how to set up Rollo with GoToLister or whatever Dymo, whatever printer you're using if you're using Dymo. And now we're gonna feed that in there. Not like that. Make sure you do the labels up. That's how you do it. Or, let's see, do it the way Rollo tells you. I think it's this way. I have the label facing down. Once the labels are ready, you'll see the button here for print all labels. You're gonna select that, open this up. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna print these, and I'm using a test shipment here, so I'm just gonna print page 1 and 2 so I don't waste too many labels. But for this shipment, we should only have 2 labels. And if you're doing 1 box at a time, you're gonna have 2 labels as well. 1 label for Amazon and 1 label for UPS. So we have 2 labels here. This one is for Amazon FBA. This is to check everything in, has your box contents. And then this label here is for UPS. You're gonna drop this off at UPS. And I'll show you how to label the box real quick. So on each side of this crack, what you're gonna do is put the FBA label on one side and then the UPS label on the other. And the reason why we put it on the side of this crack right here is they're gonna cut this down the middle like that. And if your label's there, you are out of luck. So you don't want your labels to get caught up. Alternatively, you can't put them on the side, but this makes it super easy for both parties. UPS should know by now. There's so many Amazon sellers that have been selling over the years. They should know what this label is, but maybe they don't. Just tell them just to scan this one and not worry about that one. Welcome to module 4, where I'm gonna be covering, actually Mike, my friend who is still in the trenches doing 20,000 a month in book sales, 10,000 a month profit. He's gonna be showing you guys what I believe are the best repricing strategies. And this is a very budget friendly option for booksellers. If you watch this section and model what he does, you can literally copy and paste his template. You are gonna be set up for success. I recommend getting a repricer probably around 150 books, if not before. It's good to have a system to reprice your books to ensure they sell. And this is a system you can copy for 100% free and reprice it. The software we recommend is pretty cheap.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Mike, full-time Amazon media seller. I'm probably a little person somewhere on the screen. You were really not worried about me today. Today we are going over my new Reprice It settings. I've used Reprice It since I started selling on Amazon over 5 years ago, and I've recently made some changes, so I thought it was time for an update video. So I'm going to cover everything that I exactly have set up, why I have it set up that way, and kind of give you guys a little bit of insight on all the settings, everything you can do. I'm not affiliated with Reprice It. It's just one of those things where I used it early on. It worked best for me, and I like to always tell everybody, use the software that works best for your business. My sales over the last 30 days since I made these changes are the highest they've been. We're at 19, almost 19.5K for the past 30 days. So I kind of feel like it's time for me to put this out there. And listen, if you want to copy pasta me, that's A-okay. But I always tell everybody, make sure you do things that work in your business. No 2 business models are the same. If you're interested in making more money selling on Amazon, join the YouTube channel, $2.99 a month. We got weekly live calls, private Discord, and GoToLister monthly discount. So the membership pays for itself. So First screen you all see here is the pricing of this. You get a 30-day free trial when you sign up, and then it's based off how many items you have. So you can see I'm at the Merchant Plus level, which is 5,000 to 10,000 items. It costs me $30 per month. When do I think you need a repricer if you're brand new or maybe you've been selling for a little bit? I always like to tell everybody, once you have 200 active items at Amazon, it's probably time for you to get a repricer. So this covers the pricing, super easy to get enrolled to get your 30-day free trial. Now let's get to the dashboard. So this is the main page here that you want to look at. This is going to have your templates as you can see here. So we will cover not the templates first, your schedules, right? So you got to have, this is automated. There's no coming in and doing this manually. It's automatically set up. So if you go to repricing schedules, you can set 20 different times. So you can go through, set whatever times you want, make sure it's active, make sure it's doing all of the templates. So you can choose any times you want, but make sure you have your schedule set up or it won't automatically do it for you. You also have exclude items. Say you're doing a little bit of thrifting, and I do think Reprice it is best for the thrifting model. If you're doing like online arbitrage, eBay to Amazon, Amazon to Amazon, you probably need a little bit fancier software. But for us out there, maybe we have an item that we don't want it to reprice. You can just add the SKUs and it will not reprice those items. You can see I really am not adding a lot here often, but I have added 3 here recently within the past month. So you can come in and exclude items for being repriced if you're worried about it being tanked down or anything like that. Now let's get into the fun part of our actual templates. So we got 2 templates here. We're going to cover them both. So if you don't have these, you're going to hit create new template. So we're going to go in and look at the template for FBA. So you can name this whatever you want. I just call it FBA. Template order 1. This is just the order it does the repricing. It really doesn't have no effect on anything unless you're doing like a merchant fulfilled or something, or you got items cross-listed FBA and merchant fulfilled. This is for FBA items. So we're going to make sure we got FBA items only. Criteria. This is the important part, right? So what is the criteria for this template to actually work? I have it set up from 7 days to 180 days. So a week to 6 months is this first template we have set up. I feel like 7 days is enough for my items to get dropped off at UPS, and they're usually checked in within 7 days. So I don't want it repricing my items right away because I take the time to list and price them correctly using GoToLister when I initially list them. So I give them a week before the repricer or even touch them at all. Sales rank, we just got 1 all the way to the max, which is over 6 million. Every once in a while, you find a book that's over 6 million and we're going to send it in. Price range, 0 to 500 for me. I've never sold anything over $500. We got all of our conditions checked off for the FBA template, so we know that is good to go. We're going to go back to the dashboard. Now we want to look at what are the actual settings within that template. This is the important part. And every single one of these has a little question mark box next to it that explains it at length, right? So you don't need me to sit here and explain every single one of these. I'll cover the big ones, but all you have to do is hover over the question mark like you see here, and you will be able to know exactly what each box is, in related to. So new items against new items, yes. Use items against used. We're excluding acceptable. We're excluding just launched. Just launched is somebody that doesn't have any reviews, so they're probably not buy box eligible. We're also excluding crappy sellers with ratings below 70%. Minimum allowable price, different for everybody. Mine's is $11. So these, like I said, these are the items we just sent in. So we're not touching these, and they're not going underneath $11 for the first 6 months of it actually being there. Maximum allowable price is $299.99. Like I said, I really don't have anything that's priced that high anyway. The ones you don't want to have checked off, default price to minimum allowable price when below minimum. Say you're sending a lot of fast moving $8, $9, $9.99 items. You don't want to have this checked off because then it'll automatically raise those to your minimum of $11. The same with the maximum. You don't want to have this checked off. Now, maximum number of competing offers to compare against. I am in the business of selling things. A lot of you little buggers out there think it's cool to have 1 million items in inventory and $0 in your bank account. Well, everything you're seeing here, we are as aggressive as we possibly can be when it comes to being the lowest price to sell our items. I can't reiterate this enough. If you're not selling items, you're not making money. If you're not making money, you're not going to stay around. And if you do, you're just going to be wasting your damn time. So what you see here, these are my actual settings. Like, I want to sell everything I possibly can. 1 competing offer. I'm not waiting in line. And if it was if it was a 120 degree day, you're at the water park, right? And you're like 30th in line, or doing 1 person at a time. And they're like, hey, if you just give us 1 penny, we'll get you to the front of the line. That is the correlation of my repricing strategy. I'm willing to give pennies away so I can sell my items quicker. Just think about that, right? We don't want to wait in line. We want to sell these. 111 we're worried about. This is an important one right here. If the price of an item goes down more than this percent, do not reprice. If the price of an item goes up more than this percent, do not reprice. This is how you stop your listings from tanking. So if our item goes down more than 20%, if Joe Blow hops on the listing and decides they want to give their stuff away, this kind of protects us from the crazy people that don't know what they're doing and tanking the listing and tanking our item right along with it. So 20% I think is a good kind of spot to be at. Repricing modes, another super important one here. We are repricing against the buy box owner because we are buy box eligible. Now, if you are a newer seller or you're not buy box eligible in the category you're trying to get, then this needs to go to the lowest possible competing price because that's the only way you're going to get sales until you become buy box eligible. But if you are buy box eligible, we're always going against the buy box owner. I don't mess around with intelligent repricing. I don't, the robots, computers, letting them control that stuff. I'm fine just undercutting the buy box. Do not reprice items with a sales rank above. We're not worried about that. Only reprice when an item goes up. We wish that was the case, right? Not on Amazon. Everything's going down. Never price above Amazon. We got that checked off. We're at least going underneath by 5%. Now, here goes the part where people have been yelling at me for 5 years, and most of them have gone bankrupt since, so, I guess their opinions really didn't matter much. We're undercutting by 1 penny. So 20 times a day on my 5,200 listings. If I have to, I'm dropping every single one of them by a penny. Now, I'll cover how many of your items are actually going to get repriced a little bit later in the video, but I promise you, undercutting by a penny will change your life. Stop waiting in line. Hey, Mike, why don't we hold hands and hopefully I'll get the sale. Maybe you'll get the sale, but it's cool. Are we running a business or a charity at the end of the day? So I've undercut since day one, and I've taken all the flack that comes along with it, and I'm going to keep undercutting until I go bankrupt, like everybody else who told me not to undercut by a penny did, but that probably won't happen, knock on wood. All right. Comparing FBA items only against FBA offers. This is not merchant fulfilled. This one, upload my price changes to Amazon.com. I have to reprice, and that means they're actually going to upload the price changes. So that is our first template. Kind of business as usual. If you watch my video from like 35 years ago, it was basically the same thing. Now the change I made is for items that are 6 months plus. So long-term storage starts at 6 months. In my opinion, if I can't sell an item on Amazon in 6 months, undercutting the buy box 20 times a day, it's probably a dud, or something happened on the listing where the new offers came on, or somebody had 1,000 copies of whatever the item may be. So at 6 months, I want it gone. I want nothing back besides maybe the dollar that I put into the item, because there's no value in these items anymore, right? You give it 6 months on the largest platform in the universe. If it doesn't sell within 6 months, then clearly there's something going on the listing. Now everybody, well, what about the outliers, the slow movers? Okay, I'll give you that, but you can exclude those items from repricing altogether. But for 95% of the junk that's sitting in our inventory that's older than 6 months, clearly there's more people on the listing. It's below your minimum, so you got to make a change to kind of make this work. So I created this and said, hey, after 180 days, once day 181 hits, let's just fire sale, flea market, garage sale type prices. So we're going to look at the template here first. So we got it set up here, just name 6 months plus, FBA only. You look down here, now we're doing 180 days, right? So it's picking up where the other one leaves off. Up to 3 years, nothing will ever get to 3 years. Same thing with the prices and everything like that. So that's what our template looks like. Now we're going to get into the important part of our actual repriced settings for this one. So there's going to be some changes. You're going to be able to see them right away. So we're not excluding acceptable offers anymore. So everybody that sends in, their water damage books and lists them as acceptable, we're competing against them now. We're not excluding just launched, the newer sellers. We're including all sellers regardless of their rating. So that's kind of a big change, right? Those three changed right away. We're now like, hey, it's us against the world, right? Before it was just us against the other people that kind of had a clue. Now we're like, we're going against everybody, whether it's somebody has no idea what they're doing or what. Brand new sellers, we don't care. Another big change, buckle up, Buttercup, minimum allowable price, $6.49. Okay, well, Everybody, Mike, are you going to make any money on a book? Mike, you going to make money on DVDs and CDs at $6.49? You're still going to clear like $1.23. On books, it depends on the size and weight. Some paperbacks, you'll still make some. If it's a bigger hardback, maybe you break even, maybe you lose a little bit, but I promise you, you're better off selling it at $1 loss than paying to have your item removed by Amazon. If you don't believe me, go to your search bar in Amazon Seller Central, type in Amazon FBA removal fees. You will see it's scaled on the size and weight of an item. So a book that weighs 2 pounds is going to cost you over $2 to have it removed, sent back to you, whatever that may be. So you may lose $1 on the sale, but technically you're still saving yourself $1 if you got to remove that thing down the road. So that's my thought process with this. It's not exciting. We get our money up front, right? So we send in our items, all the good stuff sells right away. Then we're just trying to nickel and dime the rest of it to kind of keep the cash coming into the bank account, keep sustaining our business. So this is not as scary as people make it out to be. And if I gave you $1 today, you could go spend that dollar better than you could 6 months ago when you sent in that crummy item that for some reason tanked and you had to sell it at $6.49. That is just the name of the game here. We're selling media. It's all about quantity at the end of the day. So for me, it is what it is. I want it going. I don't want to pay the storage fees, right? If you've been around Q4 storage fees on top of long-term storage fees, on top of storage utilization ratio fees, let me tell you, if you don't believe me, just leave all your stuff sit there, and when October hits, you'll be like, wait a minute, how much did I pay in fees? You can pay thousands and thousands of dollars a month in storage fees if you have a media business with thousands of items at Amazon. This will help you reduce your storage utilization ratio, get a little bit of cash coming back into the bank account, which you can better deploy today than you could 6 months ago. So I just gave like a whole presentation and trying to defend my $6.49. Listen, if you don't want to sell your stuff, A-okay. A-okay. We're still competing against one offer. Here we go. Another big one here. Remember our percentages that stop items from tanking? Well, they're gone. They're gone. We don't care. We don't care. No percentage is going to stop us. We're going to be the lowest FBA price regardless of whatever it may be. You see the repricing modes right underneath? Reprice at the lowest possible competing price. I don't care about the buy box. I want to be the lowest FBA price regardless. No percentage is stopping us. We're tanking everything. I'm single-handedly, and everybody in the Discord, if I can just calm them on, I'll tell you right now, right? We've had our call last month, our mastermind call, we covered this topic, and you don't have to be as crazy aggressive as me, but I do see a little sparkle in some of your eyes, and some of you have gone ahead and actually implemented this template already and have seen results. So you don't got to get as crazy with me the 6 months, right? You can do 9 months in your template when you set it up to time frame, but I promise you, if you are aggressive with your pricing, items will sell and you will make more money. So lowest possible price. We don't care about percentages anymore. If we got an item at $100 and Johnny comes on the listing and he's selling it for $7 and ours has been sitting there for over 6 months, we are going from $100, ladies and gentlemen, down to $6.99. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. But it's really not that crazy. You'll be fine. Trust me, I promise. All right, pricing against Amazon, checked off. This time we're doing 10%. You know me, penny undercutting right underneath that. FBA, we're uploading that. So those are the templates. The only other thing I wanted to cover here is your actual repricing reports. So how much of your inventory should be repriced every time this runs? We're going to take a look here. I got around 5,200 items. How many of my items are actually repriced? 270. So somebody can run the percentage on that. It's not a lot. Not all of your items are going to be repriced every single hour because they should already be in prime position to sell, right? In theory, if all your items are being repriced every single hour, then somebody else is on every single one of your listings undercutting you. So out of our over 5,000 items, only 270 are repriced. It shows you the template, right? You should see small changes here and your price changes. Unless it's the first time you're running the FBA 6 months plus, because then you might see big fluctuations because these items have tanked. Everything else after they go a few times, you should only see, something in the pennies, right? 1 penny, 2 penny. It shows you the template so you have an idea. And so not all of your inventory is going to be repriced, and that's A-okay. But you just want to make sure nothing crazy is going on after the first few times you run your actual repricing. That is basically it. I'm loving selling my old 6-month junk inventory, right? You guys see my sales. I'm sitting here telling you it's the best sales month I've had. And if you're asking, Mike, well, are you making any money? Yes, I've had the best payouts over the past 30 days that I've ever had on Amazon. So I'm fully sold on this. You don't have to get as aggressive, right? One thing you could do is maybe for your 6 months, maybe it's 9 months, right? We had some people in the group. Rob said, hey, Mike, you're a psychomaniac. I don't want to do 6 months. I'll do 9 months. I said, hey, Rob, listen, that's probably the safer bet. But for me, I want it going. So what you can do here is instead of 180 to 3 years, you could go down to 270. But then you just want to make sure that your initial template is set up. Your FBA one is set up to go from 7 days to 270 as well. So you do have a bunch of different options you can mess around with, but I promise you, repricing aggressively will put more money in your pocket. We're paying $1.50 for these items, right? Let's double, triple our money, get back out, buy some better inventory, send in more inventory, grow your business. That's gonna do it for the video.
Welcome to Module 5, where me and Chachin will be presenting to you how to scale your book business. Now, I built and sold my book business, didn't sell it for too much, but I did make $200,000 profit one year, basically what felt like on autopilot, because I built systems around everything. I built systems around sourcing, I built systems around listing, and automated systems around repricing. If you master these 3 systems, if you truly make sourcing autonomous, meaning you get profitable books consistently, predictably, without you needing to put the effort in, by getting somebody else to do the effort for you. And then you have a whole system for listing the books. You train someone to pack the books in boxes and ship them to Amazon. The easiest thing to delegate, by the way. Get your neighbor to do it, open up your garage, get somebody to come over, have them work side by side with you for a day or two, show them some tutorial videos. Very easy thing to delegate. And then number 3, repricing. Probably actually, that's easier to delegate than listing, because computers can do it, which we've gone over that in this course too, with Mike the Used Book Guy. So when all these systems are running, the hardest one is sourcing. That is a tall order to get that one autonomous. Once you get that, which I was able to do that via consignment, I launched a business called restrictedinventory.com, where I modeled my mentor, Caleb Roth, who had emptyshelves.com, cha-ching, no. And emptyshelves.com worked with libraries. This is still a great business model to this day, where libraries would scan the books for him, pack them in boxes, ship them to his door. He used to say, every morning when I woke up and saw a box on my door, for every box I saw on my door, that was a $100 bill. Because he's getting these libraries to scan the books for him. He trained them how to use the app. Boom, boom, boom. They would scan the books, put all the greens in a box. They would ship them to him. Then he would take them. His wife would then list them and ship them to Amazon. So I modeled that with my personal brand starting out. I got like 5,000 followers on Instagram. I was traveling the country selling books. And I found out not a lot of Amazon sellers could sell textbooks. So I had the whole community send me their textbooks, and then I would sell them on my account that could sell the textbooks. And then that account got shut down, and then I got another account. And long story, you guys can go watch my other YouTube videos about that. But I was selling highly likely to be counterfeit books, and I was selling thousands of them. But it was a great business. And I ended up building it and eventually partnered with someone who had approval from the brand to sell these books. We routed all the textbooks to his warehouse in Texas. And then once I kind of proved that it was an autonomous business, somebody picked it up and purchased it from me years later. But I say that because I was reading the book, The E-Myth, and I had the intention in my head, I'm going to automate my business. Because the E-Myth always talks about SOPs, delegate, delegate, delegate. And I was like, well, I delegated listing. I had somebody else packing the books for me already. Even when I was just thrifting, I would bring the books and somebody else would then list them. The very easy thing to delegate. Just get your neighbor to do it. Go on Craigslist, find somebody, get the next door, get a teenager to help you, get your wife to do it, get your husband to do it. Easiest thing to delegate. So I did that. But the hard thing was sourcing, and I saw it as an opportunity when people were like, how are you selling textbooks? How are you selling textbooks? All the time I get that question. I'm like, okay, if you guys can't sell textbooks, I'll sell them for you. I even got libraries on consignment too. Libraries, when I was traveling the country, they would send me books from, I had one library from Rhode Island that would send me their books. And so just keep your eye out for that. And then another way that people scale, probably the most common way, is via bulk books. And so they get pallets. I did the little shoulder shake there for you guys. They get pallets of books from Goodwills, Salvation Armies, Savers, you name it. And it's the process is pretty simple. What you're gonna do is pick up the phone, call these places, ask for the decision maker. Say, hey, is there someone who has authority to sell me books? Or maybe don't say that. I'm not the best at this one because I never really pursued bulk books, but you just have to hammer the phone and just call these places and ask for pallets of books and find the decision maker who can give you the authority. And this is going to be a lot of work when you get the pallets. You have to have a system for processing them, blah, blah, blah. But I have friends who have been in the business for years and they're doing bulk books 15 years plus. So it's a proven business model. It works. If you're having success doing all the other methods we talked about and you do have the desire to run and operate a small warehouse or even a larger warehouse, consider bulk books. It's a good proven method. There's lots of people that make 100,000 plus a year with one relationship with a thrift store, just going in and scanning the inventory they have and then taking the good stuff home. And you could delegate that too. You could get somebody else to go in the thrift store for you. But those are kind of some ways you can scale your book business. And if you guys want to engage more with the community, be sure to join the Go-To Lister Facebook group. That's where most of the communication goes down. And I really appreciate you guys watching this free video course. If you guys liked it, please drop a comment below and a like, and much love. Ask me any questions at all. You can DM me on Instagram. You can ask questions here. I'll answer every single one. Much love. Catch you next video.
Go-To Lister is incredibly fast.
Fast, very fast.
Super fast.
The speed of everything.
The reason why I love Go-To Lister so much is because it's super simple to use and you can list books super fast. It's a lot easier to list books. By far is the listing software that I would recommend anyone because it's super simple to use, simple layout. Absolutely love it, and I hope you love it too.